Hey everyone, it's Jen Polson here. Of course, you're on my Facebook page. I'm really excited to be here this morning, and well, I guess it's the afternoon for me. It'll be this morning for some of you. But whenever you get to listen to this video, thank you for being here, and thanks for being here and supporting me, and I appreciate everyone that always cheers me on when I do these. So, I have been listening to a lot of Lisa Nichols lately, and one of the things that she says is, have nothing to hide, have nothing to fear. She has this whole little thing, but have nothing to hide, nothing to defend, nothing to protect. And so here I am with you today, and I am just all natural, nothing to hide. I'm not trying to protect my ego, you know, not having my makeup on and all of that stuff. I've battled it back and forth all morning long. Like, I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done in my house. And anyway, hey you guys. Anyway, so I'm here just without anything to hide with my message today. And so I actually made quite a few notes because I want to make sure that I have the whole message to share with you, because I think it's really powerful. And just want to give a shout out to my husband for the inspiration. So first I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever looked around your house or your office or your bedroom, or maybe you have, I know we all have one of these, a junk drawer in our kitchen, right? Have you ever looked around and just have been, hola Carlos, what happened? Why is this such a mess? How did I accumulate this mess? And also, like, have you looked at that room or drawer or whatever it's been and say, how did this get like this? I just cleaned it a few weeks ago. So I have that experience often, and my husband and I have been working on decluttering our home. We're trying to, I don't know if it's because we're getting older, we just want to get rid of all this stuff that we really don't love or that we really don't need. We just have been talking a lot about simplifying our lives and just really hanging on to the stuff that we love. And so for the last few months, we have been slowly decluttering. When I was gone over the summer for several weeks, I came home and the attic was practically empty. And I know he threw some of my stuff away, but guess what? I don't even know what it was, and I haven't even thought about it. And so I love that there's so much stuff that we hold on to that has no meaning to us, and we just don't need to be carrying it around with us. And so anyway, let's see. Okay, so last night we were talking about how, as we've been going through this process of decluttering, it's goes in stages. So you go through and you do the first round of decluttering, right? Oh, I'm so sick of this, I've got to get rid of this. And then and then you wait a few weeks and you see even more stuff. Why am I still hanging on to this? I want to get rid of this. And so it's round 2, and you clear a whole bunch of other stuff. And then you wait a few months, and then you see even more things that you've been carrying around with you for years, right? Clothes from high school, or old furniture that someone gave you when you were first married, when you had no money, and you're hanging on to that for some reason. Our emotional and our spiritual well-being and clutter can be really similar, right? So I used to wonder, why can't I just have one deep clean emotional clearing session? Or why can't I just say one awesome prayer and have everything fixed in one prayer? One session, one prayer, that would make my life so much easier, right? And it used to make me mad. So years ago when I started this kind of work, this emotional work, I didn't have a lot of money. So every time I spent the money on me, it was a huge sacrifice. And it was almost painful, you know, and I'd get to the point where I was in a lot of pain before I'd finally go in, right? Before I knew that it didn't matter how much it cost. By that point, I had to get the help. I had to get the coaching so that I could feel better. And then, of course, when the hours finished after that session, I always was like, why did I wait so long? That was worth every single penny, and 100 times that. So as I was thinking about this, why is it that we have to keep decluttering? Why do we have to keep decluttering our homes? Why do we have to keep decluttering our souls? That's what we're doing, right? We're decluttering our minds, our hearts, our souls. And here's the truth that came up for me, is we're not ready to give it all up in one big session or one prayer or one cleaning day, right? There's stuff that we hang on to that's still a part of, we think is still a part of our identity, that we think is still a part of, how we function in the world. We might need this later. We might need to hang on to that memory of someone offending us in case it happens again. We can go back to that, and we can, pull that out from the junk that we're carrying around and say, see, I told you. We only can see what we can see. And when we start working on either our physical, space clutter or our emotional space clutter, we only work on what's at the top first. We get the top layers done. We get that first round of cleaning done, and oh my gosh, it feels so good, right? And you can upgrade to nicer furniture because there's space there. And you can acquire the things that really mean something to you, and hang on to those. When you start doing that on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, oh my gosh, you start with the anger and the overwhelm and the frustration, and you start with the comparing yourself and the jealousy. And let's see, and maybe you've been carrying around some resentment for a while. So those are all like the symptom things that are keeping you unhappy. So you work on those first layers to start with. And that feels really good, because then you open yourself up to more love, more forgiveness, more compassion, not only for yourself, but for other people. More forgiveness. We get rid of, we have more room to serve other people, instead of wondering, instead of wondering how people are going to help you or serve you, or keeping track of who owes you what. You can just let go of all of that stuff. When we declutter, you can show up so much happier. Thanks, you guys, for all the hearts and thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So here we are. We're in this space where we've started to declutter, right? And things start feeling well. So our space is feeling good. Our head, our hearts are feeling good, because you've made that investment in yourself. And things feel good for a while. And then what happens? The kids come home from school. I don't know if this happens at your house, but it's like they walk in the door, they drop the backpack, they drop their shoes, they drop their papers. I mean, there's a trail from the front door into the kitchen where they grab something to eat, leave some crumbs. Then they go to the couch and they, spread out all over the couch. And before I know it, like the house is, a little cluttery or a lot cluttery. And the same thing, the same thing happens oh, I wanted to bring up too, like also like we've got to do stuff like make dinner. So, then the dinner dishes get left in the sink because we're going to the next thing. We're always on the run, right? So we don't always take care of things right when they need to be taken care of. And we have to come back to it later. And sometimes that feels a little overwhelming and discouraging. But, the same thing can happen when we're working on our emotions as well. Like we can go and have a great session and get a bunch of stuff cleared and feel really peaceful and open and loving. And then, you show up, I don't know, at the grocery store and somebody says something really rude to you and it triggers you. And all of a sudden, you've got this little gnawing feeling like, who does she think she is? Or maybe you get a call from a family member and they said something that really triggered you. Or maybe your spouse says something, or doesn't take the garbage out, or doesn't put the toilet seat down, or doesn't, and in my case, I know, like, doesn't have dinner ready when everybody's hungry. I know that's a little trigger at my house that happens. So we have these things that kind of accumulate, and pretty soon you realize that there's clutter again everywhere. Clutter in our space, clutter in our head, and in our hearts. So one of the things we do in our home, I try to do this, is take a few minutes at the end of the day and have everybody just pick up their stuff. And I do this because when I can like ask everyone to help all at one time, then for me it's not when everyone's in bed and I'm looking at all the clutter getting frustrated and angry. I know that I need to just ask for everybody's help. Thanks, you guys. And so that's one thing that we can do to kind of keep up on the physical clutter, is just a few minutes at night, have everybody help pick up their stuff. And that kind of keeps you going. All right, so emotions, how do we keep up with that emotionally? For me, it's taking some time every day to connect spiritually. And that means for me doing some toning meditation. It means kneeling down and actually saying a prayer. It means journaling and writing out my intentions for the day. How do I want to feel? How do I want to show up? It means that I take time for myself, just to fill myself up, to connect spiritually. That is like a non-negotiable for me. And when I do that, then the clutter doesn't seem to accumulate as quickly, but I'm also releasing it as it comes. And so, one of the things one of my mentors taught me is to do a write and burn. So if I feel like I'm really carrying around a lot of stuff, like at the end of the day, I'll just write down the frustrations. I'm mad about this. I'm frustrated with this. I feel defeated. I feel overwhelmed. And then what I do is I usually rip it up. You can burn it. And then I make a new list, a new list of how I want to feel. I feel peaceful. God's truth about me is that I can do anything with him. So write down truths, write God's truth, and write down how you want to feel. Those are things that you can do on a daily basis to keep up with the clutter. Sometimes the truth is that we need a deep clean every once in a while. Our homes need a deep clean. Our office needs a deep clean. Our junk drawer needs a deep clean. And it goes the same with us. And so sometimes we just need to either set aside a day where you just do all the deep cleaning. I'm getting to the point in my life where, I like to hire someone to help me. I don't always do that, but it's looking better and better to me. When I've done that in the past, it's always been worth every cent that I've paid, getting help to do that deep cleaning. I don't have the time to do that all the time. And then the same thing with our emotions. Sometimes we just need to go and have that session. We need to have an energy session, or we need to get a massage, or we need to, go talk to a counselor. We need to, whatever it is that's going to take care of you. Sometimes it's making even a better, bigger investment in yourself and going to, a seminar that's away from your home, or a retreat where you can really, really get down to deep cleaning all of the junk that is just ready to go when you're at that point and you just need it to go. Because you've got big things to do in this life. You've got a light that needs to shine, and it gets all worn down, and it gets muted out by all the junk that we carry around with us. It takes a constant effort. It takes time. It takes being inconvenienced. That's a big one. Getting up an hour earlier in the morning is oftentimes a big inconvenience for me, because I've usually been up late the night before. But every time I inconvenience myself, I show up so much better the next day. Sometimes it takes money. It takes money to get the help that you need. And being committed to yourself. I'm like, what is it that you really want to achieve? So many people are walking around wanting a different life, but not being willing to do something different. And you've got to make that choice. We each have to make that choice every single day. Are we going to stay in the same place and feel the same way, show up the same way, keep wishing that our lives were different, or are we going to take that step and just plunge into the clutter and get rid of it? I want you to know that you are worth it. We all have to get to a point where we know that we're worth it. So the first thing to work on is understanding your worth. If you have some issues about knowing that you are worth taking care of, start there. Start loving yourself, because you can't shine your light if you don't love yourself and if you don't know that you're worth loving. And get that from God. Don't get that from me. Don't get that from your spouse or your friends or anyone outside of you. Don't get it from your work. Just go directly to the source of who created you, to find out how much you are loved and how much you are valued, and always start there. And then you'll be guided and directed to the places that you need to go to get the help that you need to keep moving forward. So I want to leave that with you. I'm going to look through my comments here real quick and just see if there were any questions. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. I love that. Work together and express your needs. Keep it real and authentic. I love that. Someone's been decluttering today. I love that, Trisha. Okay, let's see. Just looking at this. Oh, thank you, Karina. You're so sweet. I miss you too. Anyway, I just want you to know you all are worth it. So I want you to take good care of yourselves today. And thank you for being here in my authenticness. Nothing to hide. You guys don't have anything to hide either. Just go out there, shine your light, be your best selves. And I look forward to hearing from you. I want to know how it's going. So message me, leave me a note here or on my website at jenpolson.com, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.